Good morning. So today is Friday the 13th. This morning, it just seems like I am wide open. The downloads are just coming and coming and coming. Yesterday, I had a day of pretty much going inward, um, cleaning the house, cleaning inward, just kind of sitting in myself. I met my twin yesterday, and it seems like after I meet him, a lot of times the floodgates just open wide open, and there's so many thoughts that come through and inspirations that come through, um, and understandings and downloads. It's like um, I'm imagining it like I can see that energetically there's something between us that just keeps on coming around and around since the whole thing that happened. Um, was pretty soon it's going to be 4 weeks ago since the whole thing that happened. We keep meeting. We've met at least, I think, like twice a week ever since. And it's really funny because they're random meetings and but meaningful. And I think that on this like the because the energy is connected, somehow we keep on um, meeting at the same places, being at the same places at the same time. I can also feel the energy as like intertwined. There's something about every meeting that we have that it just feels like home. It just feels like natural. And I think that's part of this twin flame um, connection. And we had a really good meeting yesterday. We met at the hot springs, and I wasn't intending even on going. I went to visit my kids in Tiberias, and I didn't even take any swimming clothes with me. I took some shorts from my son and decided to go after, and he was there when I got there. And he said that he knew that we were going to meet. I told him I didn't even know that I was going to come here, and he said, well, you should have asked me. um, And I feel like a lot of the downloads, they're coming through at different levels. There's so many different things that I want to talk about. I want to talk about also, ever since the separation, this last separation between my twin and I, um, in the separation time, what I'm understanding is that it is self work time. It's time that I'm coming into myself and I'm becoming stronger in myself. And just these past 4 weeks, I can see through going through the pain and how painful it is that it makes you and forces you to do the internal work and to really look at the situation and see the places that it kind of forces you to go into yourself and do the self work because there's so much pain. It's bringing everything up to the surface that needs to be looked at. If you're already in the pain, you might as well be going through. And I feel so much stronger than I was um, a few weeks ago. Even though a few weeks ago, if you would have asked me, I felt like I was in a very strong place, but I feel even stronger. And I feel even stronger in my knowing and my assurance of this twin flame journey. Um, it just keeps on bringing deeper and deeper and deeper levels to it. And the knowing of it is becoming stronger and stronger and stronger. The realization, because every step of the way we're going deeper inward, and we can see how how our self-work is connected to this mirror that we're receiving. And so your belief is inherent in the actual journey. And so what I'm really looking, and then I go up a level, and what I'm really looking at is all these downloads that are coming. Some of them are, it's all connected to the new world, going into the new world, which the new world is a dimension, going into a different dimension. There are many, many different parallel dimensions that are all happening simultaneously on this same plane, on the same physical plane. And you can live in you can choose many, many, many different perspectives, vibrational dimensions, ways of being, and that the twin flame journey is really bringing you into your highest potential, because it's bringing you back to soul level, your connection to all, which is the grandest of all timelines. Or I don't know if you would even put it that way, because all of the different timelines have a purpose and each support one another. They're like built upon one another. And when you're on one timeline, if you're on a timeline that you have been in the other timelines, you can see through. It's like looking through a glass window, and you can see the other timelines and you can see where other people are sitting. Sometimes you get so far away from that perspective that, and then you see it, and when it comes blatant in your face, you get shocked at, like, wow, people are really living in those vibrations. And especially now during these times when there's so much fear in the world and so much control. And you see that the majority of the people can't even see, they're living so much in the ego mind, so much in this physical form. They are buying into the illusion that all we are is this physical body. And they don't see the wider picture, and they don't see God inside of themselves. And they can't see that, they can't even see that the game, they're so far in it that they think that the game is reality. And they are, and they are also, it's an illusion. And they're also being shaped and formed to sit in that illusion through people that are actually that are like the herders, the you would call it, um, the ones that are sitting at the top and making sure that all the people are in fear. Because when you're in fear of losing what you do have, you're just, all you can't see a broader picture. You're living in that very dense fear mode. And I see how the people are being controlled through fear, and they don't even realize that it is control. They think that it is reality. They don't realize that there are many, many, many different realities to choose from, and that you get to choose through choosing your perspective. If you want to call it through the mind, then it's through choosing your perspective. If you go through emotions, choosing your vibration, it's connecting to the higher vibrations. It's finding a source. A lot of times when we're in that dense mode, and I know this from my own experience, a lot of times you can't even see the other modes. And so what you really need to reach for is something in the now, something that you can appreciate. You need to reach for appreciation. When you reach for appreciation, it brings you into a softer mode. It brings you into, inside of appreciation sits joy. So you find something that gives you joy. And once you can find that vibration, and once you can find something small to be joyful about or appreciative of, it's very hard to go from 0 to 100. You have to kind of go to 1, and then to 2, and then to 3. You have to build it. And then once you get to 100, then it's much easier once there's momentum going, and once you are, already in that mode, to keep on finding more that keeps you in that mode. But to get from 0, you have to slowly crawl out and slowly find your way and slowly climb up. The conversation we were having yesterday with my twin, we talk a lot about the new world and coming into the new world, and and being able to see from that perspective, look into life and the world and everything that is happening now on this plane, is uh, it's amazing to be able to see. So what some of the downloads, what I was talking about, what I was thinking about, there's so many different subjects. This video is going to be about so many different subjects. But one of the things is that a friend of ours, a mutual friend, with all the fear that is going on and everything being shaken up, all of our worlds are being shaken up. There's horrific things happening now with war that is going on, and just horrific. And And this is part of that fear-based consciousness. And okay, I want to think of it. I want to think of how I'm going to put this into words. In extreme times, true nature comes out. So if you, so it is an opportunity to grow. It is an opportunity to check for self check. So when people's backs are put against, people are, it's really easy in easy times to say, oh yeah, I'm so vibrationally um, um, in sync with the universe and love and peace, and it's so easy when times are easy. But when are the real tests? The real tests are when you are put into a situation of complete pressure. It's just like that saying about orange juice, about oranges. When you squeeze an orange, what's going to come out? Orange juice. So in under pressure, when you're squeezed under pressure and under fear, that is the time of your testing. And I don't mean testing like somebody's coming in grading you, or even the universe is coming in grading you, but it is an opportunity for you to look in your own mirror, because what your true nature is going to be coming out when you're put under stress, when you're put under extreme situations like we are today, especially with the war going on. Now, I keep informed enough to know what is going on, but I disconnect myself from the over information that is coming out, the fear-based information, the feeding myself the constant like poison. It's and because I can see that it is a brainwashing mechanism, and we are human. We are, we part of our being, part of this life experience is that we are like sponges. We want to learn. We are curious. Wherever we put our focus, that is what expands in our life. So if I choose to be involved all the time just on the war, and I understand in my higher self that this is tactic. It's all tactic. It's all fear-based. It's all, and the ones that are creating the war, the ones that are actually out there dying and doing the deeds, are the pawns, are the people that are on the bottom. You don't see the people at the top out there uh, getting blowed up. Um, it's the pawns. It's the lowest soldiers. It's the worker ants. It's the ones that have been so far. They're at the densest vibration, the ones that have been fed this fear-based mentality from when they were tiny children, and they weren't given the opportunity even to break free of it. They didn't have a thought that they were able to configure on their own because of how they were conditioned from such a young age. And when you look at it this way, it's all compassion work. We're all God's children. We all had we are born with different talents and different capabilities and different ways of thinking, and some of us are born naturally unbound. But part of this experience is that we continuously learn. We continuously are fed from our surroundings. We are sponges, so we need to guard our consciousness. We need to know these things and guard ourselves. So part of the things that are coming through for me this morning, that's why I started to say, is that there are things that are coming through that are for the guiding of the higher level of humanity, of the higher consciousness. And part of the things that are coming through are individual self work, the individual of saying how to get into this higher timeline. So on one level, I'm seeing the timelines and I'm able to see it energetically, and I'm able to see um, that there are different timelines, and that we are all using the same platform the same 3D platform. And so we are living side by side with people that are in complete different timelines and different consciousnesses and different perspectives and see the world differently. And many times we're living side by side. We meet these people, we have some kind of interaction with them, which could be, we go to the store and we buy something from them, or we pass them on the road, or we pass them in our cars. But a vibrational connection, even when you try to converse with people that are in completely different vibrational level or a completely different timeline, the conversation falls short. There's just no connection there to really make a meaningful conversation. Um, sometimes sometimes you can find, because we're all souls. Sometimes you find a little spark where you can find a common ground and kind of bring inspiration in. But something that I am learning in myself is that I can, the best work that I can do is hold myself at the highest vibrational place that I am in any given moment, and be that, because that will inspire and ignite other people's rising. And that is the best that I can do and the most that I can do. If there is a soul that comes and asks and requests from me, and they're on the right path and they're on a light path, and you can see that there is essence in the conversation, and there is something to come out of it, something for them to gain, then put my time into it and put my effort into it. But I am learning how to keep my energy, and not exploit my own self. That means not try to, I don't have to save the entire world. Each person is here to have their own life experience, and they will, wherever they are at their level, they will find the strands to the next level and slowly. I don't have to provide those strands, and I certainly don't have to um, um, throw my efforts to the wind. So many times if I meet somebody that is on a different timeline and I see that there is no purpose in my effort to teach them something, or to, even if I can see where they are, and even if I can have compassion and know what they need next on their path, if they are not ready for it, then there is no purpose in me depleting any kind of, or putting any kind of energy into it, or depleting myself for it. And there certainly is no need for me to give gifts where there isn't a recipient. And so this is something that I'm learning in myself, and I'm passing on through this video to whoever. I imagine that there are many of us that are also coming to the same realizations, but are also, this is something that has been recent for me, that I don't have to save the entire world. I don't have to have everybody know exactly what I know either. There isn't an ego here where, when I meet somebody, I want them to know how magnificent I am and all the knowledge that I have. It's more of a personal journey. It's more of me uncovering myself, and I get the rewards. It's like my own little gifts to myself, and by uncovering myself, and it is also allowing me to enter into paradise. It's allowing me to enter into, and I get emotional because I'm so overwhelmed and an appreciation for my understanding of things, and the opportunity even to go to the opportunity of this twin flame journey, and the opportunity of me being saved. I feel like I'm being saved, and one of the lucky ones. I don't even know if luck it has anything to do with it, um, but I feel graced and chosen, and for being allowed, graced, even allowed to see the 3D world, for this awakening, for me waking up and realizing and being able to see these things and pass them on. I feel like I'm doing my God's work by passing them on. That I also feel like once you start realizing these things, it's not that, well, once you start realizing these things there, and you come to a certain state or a certain level of consciousness, the next level is passing on the word. It's like there is no advancement. That is the next step in your advancement, is where it feels like it's just being born out of me. Recently, in the last couple of days, yesterday I didn't do any video, I didn't record anything. Um, but the day before that, I think I put up a video that I found somehow. I found from January, and it was one of the first videos that I did when I was, and I can even see how far I've come from that video. That was 10 months ago. We're in October now. 10 months ago. It was from the 1st of January 2023. And I don't remember what I was going to say about that. But I watched a video by Aaron Daughtry, I think his name is. He is excellent. He explains things very, very simply and well. And he was also talking about vibrations and dimensions and parallel timelines, um, which is something that, going into the new world, going into a different state of consciousness. And he said something that I hadn't heard before, and when he said it, it rang so true. It's an excellent video. I hope to remember to put a link to it in the comments. If I don't, you can request it from me, and I will. He said something about that there are, that the universe in itself, the world itself, is Mother Nature. It's a live being, and we are just part of it. And these different dimensions that you are, these different timelines that you can live in, that you can choose to live in, live simultaneously and side by side. And what he was saying is that there is a law, like a universal law, that each timeline has the right to exist and has a place to exist. This is my understanding, right? It might not be exactly what he said, but there might be some of mine added into this, from the place of my understanding, and that the universal law is that they are not allowed to interfere with one another. So as long as the timeline is, so every timeline has a place and has a purpose and has a reason for it, and each of us come into this reincarnation in different timelines and conditioned to different timelines, but and you can jump timelines. He was talking about. He was also talking about some other teachers that he had been listening to that explain it in different ways, and it was really interesting. You see it as like trains on this track, and when the trains are first starting out, they're close together, and it's easier to jump timelines. But when the trains start splitting into different directions, you need to watch out and see which train you're on, because it's going to be so much harder to jump the train tracks. And so to hold yourself in this high vibration, that's coming back to the story with my twin yesterday. And he said, okay, so I'm going to finish that. The universal law is that these timelines are not allowed to interfere with the other timelines. And what's happening nowadays is that the very, very dense timelines, the timelines of humanity that are asleep, are creating war machines and creating atomic bombs and desecrating the earth and desecrating the animals' habitat and our habitat on the higher timelines, on the higher. It sounds. See, you have to take things and take the energetic message, not the literal message, because in order to pass a message, you have to take it and narrow it down into words. And I know that none of this is absolute. It's more of like getting the gist of what I'm saying, getting the understanding energetically of what I'm saying, the feel of it. Um, because you can take anything that is said and you can interpret it in so many different ways, and you can take the actual words and twist them around and make double meanings, especially if you're on, you know, it's like anybody is going to interpret anything from where they are at through their own filter. So um, and I know that a lot of what I teach or what I speak or what I say is not to show you where I'm at, because I'm already turning it around. I'm in this spot again, but I love this spot. I hike up to this spot. Down there's the valley, say. And the doggies. So we're each going to interpret the, I know that in my teachings or in my messages or whatever comes through um, from the higher planes, but it also comes through me as the filter. The higher realms come through me and use my words, my interpretation, my filter, my unique way of interpreting it. That's why we connect. There's so many teachers that teach the exact same thing, but we connect to certain teachers because of the way that they express it, because of the way that it comes through them. There's so many of us that are on this same path and realizing the same things, and we each have our own unique way of expressing it. And that's why it's so wonderful, because these messages, when we're connected to these higher realms, these messages are coming through so many of us, and there's so many teachers that we have the potential to connect to vibrationally so that we can understand the message clear, or the message comes through on different little like you would see a jellyfish that has all the tentacles, all those little tentacles. And so each of us is like connected to the jellyfish and have different ways of, different waves, different vibrations, different aspects. We interpret different parts of the message, or have a different way of saying it, or we see something just in a little bit of a different light that can go ding in somebody's brain, and be like candy for your brain. I love it when I find a teacher that speaks right to me, and it just goes right through everything and just right into the soul. It's like candy for the soul. Or teachers that tickle my brain, like they'll say something, it'll be like, oh, I never thought of that. That's a brain tickle. Like this morning with Aaron Daughtry, that what he said about the timelines not allowed to interfere with one another. And once they do, then Mother Nature has a way of shaking everything loose. And that is what's going on now. You even see now there's a jet, a fighter jet. There's constantly fighter jets in the air now. Now with the wars going on, and it feels like total chaos, but it has to be in order to, and I'm saying this with utmost compassion for all of the lives lost, and but the old world is breaking down, and that's what's happening. Things are polarizing. It's like the ancient prophecies of light and darkness. When the dark becomes so dark that beings of light can't connect to it, they start polarizing. It's the same thing as the different timelines, like the trains going off in different directions. If you are at that lower vibrational way of being, you're going to be swept into the fear base. You're going to be taken. Your mind is going to be drawn to that. That is your vibration. That's just like that. Now we're coming back around to the conversation that I was having with my twin yesterday. Um, about this fear-based, people, when they're pushed to their back to the wall, when all of this is coming out, and all of a sudden all of these horrific things that are happening, all of the dense vibration is coming out, it starts jogging you. It starts like shaking your insides, and whatever is in there starts coming up to the surface. A lot of times you say, oh, don't judge somebody because they were put in a really bad situation, and don't judge them because of their actions. But it's exactly the opposite. When somebody is put to the wall, what's really inside is what comes out. When somebody when it's really easy in simple times to just be love and peace and speak and put on a face. But when the pressure comes and you start being squeezed, is when your true self comes out, and your true demons start butting their heads up. And that is the time to vanquish them. That gives us opportunity to choose timelines. It gives us opportunity to see what's coming out of us. It gives us opportunity to wait a minute. Okay, so we have to go through it because that's what's in us that's coming out. But then we also have the opportunity of coming up above ourselves and looking in and saying, okay, wait a minute, what's coming out now? Is that fear-based? Where is that coming from? How was that programmed in me? You have the opportunity of finding all these inner demons and vanquishing them. And I know that sounds super religious and super um, corny, but I find it to be so true. And I'm finding, like, in these ancient writings that I've always been kind of like leery of. I was also raised 3D based, and my father has the news going, blasting 24/7, really 24/7. Um, Even when he goes to sleep, he leaves the TV on. He just mutes it so that when he gets up in the morning, it'll already be there. Um, so it feeds into your soul. It feeds into your being. And when I go over there, it's like a contrast of vibration. It's a vibrational contrast, and it's not even the truth. The news brings one little line of things that are happening. There's 24 hours, and there's millions and billions of people in the world, right? So there's always, every single person's being has their own news, right? And so even if you have a channel and you are going 24/7 on that channel, you're only bringing like one little hairline of what is really going on. So it's not like it's really actual anyway. It's all built and minded around money. It is all built and minded around, without money, there wouldn't be news channels. So they are being funded, and this funding is coming from somewhere. And in order to be funded, they have to keep the excitement up. So in order to keep the excitement up, they have to keep the fear. They have to keep the shock level, and the shock level has to keep on getting, you know, more shock. What shocked me yesterday, today is not going to shock me. So the extremes have to keep coming. It has to be worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. Then it gets, and so really in these kinds of times, these are the times where the 3D is already the the new world is already here. The new world is a dimension that there are many of us that are already in this dimension, and we are leading the way. We are showing the way. It's a shift in your understanding of the world. It's a shift in your perspective. It's a shift in your vibration. It's a shift in how you feel. It's a shift in where you choose to put your focus. It's a shift in how you see the world around you. And my twin just wrote me, and it is um, see how that gets me off. So and I'm going to pause this for a second and recollect myself. So, and you can see now that the world is polarizing. It's like the evil is it's becoming more and more extreme. The different sides are becoming more extreme. So when this much pressure is being put on, by the lower dense, the denser timelines, with war that's going on. It's the old world trying to hold on. It's the old world that is fear based, that is controlling the humanity and has been in control, is trying to hold on. And in order to hold on, they have to go to the extreme because of the connectivity of everything today, especially with the internet, and people not wanting to live in that fear. People are exploring their own freedom. People are finding their own freedom, especially in countries that have been disconnected and very dominated. Are all of a sudden seeing that there are different ways of living, that there are people out there living different lives, people are yearning for this, and so the old world has to grasp on even harder, and um, and so when you're put under that extreme pressure, it's very easy to fall back into that old vibrational being. So now is the opportunity to jump timelines, is the opportunity to not allow these things to interfere with your higher vibration. And when you come into this higher vibration, you are leading the way. You are leading others that are around you into this higher vibration. You are allowing others to see what it looks like. That is why the most important work is the self work. The most important work is to hold ourselves. We don't need to go down into those dense places because it's like getting in the muck. It's like getting that dense vibration stuck on you. If are people that are asking for help and that you see that you can pull them out without it taking you down into that level, then by all means, save the souls. But the most important work that you can do as an individual and that I can do as an individual is to hold my vibration at the higher place so that I can serve as an anchor in the new world. So I can serve as an anchor for people to be able to be inspired and be able to see what it looks like, to be able to see that it is possible, to be able to see that there are other options, to be able to see that amidst all of this, there's war going on, there's atrocities, there's horrific things. And it's not that we don't see or that we don't have compassion, or that we don't know. It is a choice but there is no purpose in sitting in that dense vibration. It's just adding power to that. And wherever you put your focus, or as a collective, we add power. So if the more people that put their perspective on that or put their focus on that, it is bringing that thing more to life. Whereas if we take our focus and we bring it into the new world, into the new way of being, then we are able to not only pull ourselves out and save ourselves, but we're able to serve others in the way that we're showing them the light, we're showing them the way. And this is on this twin flame journey. And now I'm going to go into the individual. So that was more the collective. And now I'm going into the individual, which is the self work, which is purifying ourselves, because to go into this paradise, you can't go in with these dense ways of being or dense thoughts. You have to purify yourself as you go through the layers and pass through the dimensions. Each dimension is a pure form. And once you start moving through the dimensions, you understand what I'm saying. Once you start moving through these dimensions, you start losing more and more. Also in the physical world, you see that you need much less. You don't want to hold on to a whole bunch of physical things because it bogs you down, it holds you down. It's more things that you have to be responsible for. And it's also, when you're holding on to a whole bunch of stuff, it's dense energy. And we hold on to stuff so that we can have security. Oh, we have stuff, we have this big grand whatever it is. this big grand piece of furniture. There are things that are sentimental, and we are humans, and that is part of the experience, is collecting things that we love, that have that we're fond of, and that have vibration for us, but not holding on to things just so that we have matter in our lives, just so that we can be feel secure because we have all this stuff. When you start going through this enlightenment, you start releasing stuff. You start seeing how stuff is just holding you down. Every time you want to be light so that you can move through life easy. You can move from place to place. You can go from place to place. You want your means to become smaller, not larger. You want your experiences to become larger, and your stuff to become smaller. You start losing. The want to hold on to things. You start wanting to shed things because you see that they hold you in place. It's easier to maneuver. Um, and I want to talk about this last lesson. That was a very, very serious lesson for me, and I feel like it was one of the biggest lessons. It was like a mega quantum leap for me in my rising into the new world, or my rising into myself, or my highest timeline, or my self assurance and self esteem, and understanding myself more. A core wound, really a core wound of self worthiness and feeling worthy. Um, when One of the things that my twin said to me is that I want him. I want him. And I was thinking about that a lot, because what does that even mean, that I want him? I want to what? Possess him? You can't possess another person. And I was thinking about what he was saying about it, and what it meant really. He said and because of the whole thing that happened with the separation, it was my insecurities of losing him. See, it's paradox. My insecurities of not being important with him, so it's my insecurities of losing him that caused me to lose him. So, see the paradox of it? You see the absurdity of it? I irony of it? Um, And what is to possess another person? You see, when you truly love somebody, you don't want to possess them, because you love them for who they are. You love them for their free spirit. You love them because of what they bring. When you try to hold somebody into, like, when you try to possess somebody, you're actually holding back them from the reasons that you love them. So you're kind of dampering what it is that you love about them the most, because when you love somebody, you love them because they're vibrant, because they're outgoing, because of the things that they're doing, and because of the way that they interact with other people, the way that they express themselves, the way that they fly through and experience the world. And when you start becoming jealous and start trying to control them, or trying to possess them, you're actually um, tr- in in inadvertently, is that a word? Unknowingly, you're actually holding back the things that you love the most about them. You're trying to inhibit their own life experience. When you truly love somebody, you want them to experience life in the fullest. You want them to go out and express themselves. You want them to go out and spend time with the people that they're interested in, and the people that they love, and the people that they find interesting. And you want them to expand on their journey, even if it means that they're not only expanding with you. And when you really think about it, I'm one person. I experience life through my own way of being. So I might have a vast life and a vast way of looking at things, and see universal things, and be interested in so many different subjects, but I'm still one person. And every single person that you meet is a universe. Every single person that you meet teaches you something, has the potential to teach you something, is interested in different things, have different things going on, have a different quirky personality. They're an individual, and have different talents, and different ways of being, and different ways of expressing themselves, and different interests, and different life experiences that they bring to the table, and different sense of humor, and different channeling from the divine is coming through them. So in trying to inhibit anybody from fully experiencing every experience that they have and meeting every single person that interests them, because every single person that we meet, meets us at a different place. They connect to us in a different way. They connect to us, connect to different aspects of us. Some people that I meet really trigger my wild side. Some people that I meet, uh, uh, they connect straight with my sense of humor, and that is our connection. Some people meet my spiritual side. Some people meet my the different parts of my intellect. Some people meet me at the place where, I have this side that likes to figure things out, likes to like really get in there and like figure out the inner workings of things. And some people that I meet like a logistics side. Some people that I meet, they meet me in my nature side, or so many different aspects of me, and different people ignite different things within me and allow me to expand in that place. And for me to be jealous, first of all, is a total insecurity. It's not believing in my own self-worth. Me being jealous or trying to inhibit him from meeting other people is not only taking his experience and bringing it down because of my own insecurities. I mean, how greedy is that? How insane is that? It's like taking a person that I say that I love and doing the exact opposite, not showing them love. Showing somebody love is wanting their own best interest for them, wanting them to go out and experience life, wanting them to meet new people. It doesn't, and it and me being jealous is showing unself love, because it's showing that I might not be worth it if he meets this other person, that he's going to like them more than me, and there is no comparison between me and any other person. So, and I want him to have, if I truly love him, then my expression of love is wanting him to have a full life experience and experience his life to the absolute fullest. And I want the same for me. If like I was saying about Aaron Daughtry, that I click with him. I can see his point, and a lot of people click with him because he has a very natural way of expressing himself. And I would love the opportunity to meet him and to talk with him spiritually. We speak the same language, I feel like. And I wouldn't want, that to have a somebody in my life that wouldn't want that for me if I wanted it for me. And so I can, these lessons that I've been receiving through this whole experience with my twin flame in the last few weeks, and you can see in this understanding and what I am speaking of. And I'm good. And I had a conversation with my girlfriend the other day, and I was telling her the exact same thing. And the more I say it, the more I realize it, the more I find it to be true, and the broader that it becomes. And these are things that I've known. These are things that I've known from before. And I don't want anybody next to me to feel like they can't be a full expression of themselves, and to fully express what they're interested in, and if they're interested in meeting another person, especially if it's somebody that I love and that I want for their best, then especially then. And I don't want anybody to do the same to me. And being jealous is also a form of of like desecrating my own self and my own self-worth. And so I have been going through a lot of self-work in this, finding the fight just in that I'm able to find that, okay, wait a minute, here's a place that I'm not in full unconditional love towards myself, because if I was, this wouldn't threaten me in any way. The I wouldn't have to have these jealous thoughts, or try to uh, obsess or possess anybody else. So that the words that he said, that you want me, and I was trying to think, what does that even mean? I want him. How can you want another person? Does it mean I want him romantically? Does it mean I want to possess him? Does it mean I want him to be like my property? What does that even mean? And when I started churning that around, because the whole sentence sounded, how can you want somebody else? What, I want to eat him? What do I want? What does that even mean? I want him. I want him. Um, I want him to be in my life. I want to be around him. I enjoy his company very, very much. I enjoy the what he brings, the value that he brings into my life, but that doesn't mean that I want him. I can't possess him. I want me. I can't even possess me. So what does that even mean? And in the question itself, there were so many answers and so many things that are unfolding for me, and so many understandings and so many um, higher understandings. So I think that that is pretty much, I've summed up all of those, the most of the thoughts that I've had this morning. So I'm going to sum up this video. It's getting kind of long too. So I really appreciate you guys watching, and I hope that this was helpful. It was helpful for me, that's for sure. So I'm wishing you guys lots and lots of love and expression.